Good morning, everyone, and happy Friday. Welcome back to another review. I got a haircut for those who saw my previous review. Anyway, today I'll be reviewing Wes Anderson's film Fantastic Mr. Fox. It's a 2009 release. It's based on Roald Dahl's classic book, which I haven't personally read, but I do aim to. I won't be discussing that in the review, I'll just be focusing on the movie. Wes Anderson is known for other movies such as Grand Budapest Hotel in 2014 and more recently in 2018 Isle of Dogs, another stop motion picture. So we'll be looking at that art style further in this review. As of this review that I'm making, the ratings for this film are showing a 93% on Rotten Tomatoes from critics and an 85% amongst general audiences. We're also looking at a 7.9 out of 10 on IMDb. This film shows a lot of Wes Anderson's unique art style and creative directing, a lot of those centered shots if you're familiar with his work. So we'll be looking at that as well during this review. The story of this film follows Mr. Fox as he attempts to outwit three farmers while also navigating personal life. Some stand-up performances in this film come from George Clooney, who plays Mr. Fox. We have Meryl Streep, who plays his wife, Mrs. Fox. Jason Schwartzman, who plays Mr. Fox's son, Ash. Badger, their lawyer, who's played by Bill Murray. We have Eric Chase Anderson, who plays Christopherson. And finally, Willem Dafoe, who plays Rat. Now, if you don't want any spoilers, I would recommend you skip ahead about a minute here. I'm going to be talking about the characters some more. My personal favorite in this film is Christopherson, played by Eric Chase Anderson. This kid is hilarious. He comes along in the film in the about first or second act, and what we understand about him is that his mother or father is sick. It's Mr. Fox's sibling, and therefore he has to stay with Mr. Fox's family while his parents get better. Christopherson is the most perfect kid ever. He can do no wrong. For some reason, he's a master martial artist. He's doing backflips in the first scene we see him in. Meanwhile, we have Mr. Fox's son Ash, who can't do any of these things and is understandably jealous. Mr. Fox never really paid much attention to his son. He's a very selfish character. And with the deadpan delivery of all these characters throughout the film, it makes for hilarious moments, just scene after scene. Another character I love is Badger, played by Bill Murray, the lawyer. Are you cussing at me? Are you cussing at me? Stop cussing at me. I'll show you a clip of that.
I understand what you're saying, and your comments are valuable, but I'm going to ignore your advice.
The cuss you are.
The cuss am I? Are you cussing with me?
No, you cussing with me?
Don't cuss and point
You're
at
gonna
me.
cuss with somebody. You're not gonna cuss with me, you little cuss.
With me. Just by the tree.
These characters are incredible. Again, the dry humor, the satire, these performances are all standout voice acting performances. I find personally that George Clooney's performance as Mr. Fox is my favorite I've seen of him in a while, if not ever. A big part of this film and what makes it so charming to me is the visuals and animation styles. This is a stop motion picture, as I mentioned earlier in this review, and if any of you have seen stop motion, you'll understand when I say it almost feels like you're watching puppets moving around, a lot of jerky feelings, and some people might not always love that style, but I find in this movie, it's a perfect fit. I wouldn't have it any other way. That puppet feeling, again, really adds to the deadpan delivery I talked about earlier, which accumulates to deliver this sense of wit and charm throughout the film. This movie does not take itself seriously at all. It is a true comedy. Even at moments where the characters are facing a lot of conflict, you never feel stressed or worried because you have this charm throughout the film. Another aspect of that is the colors. Lots of bright colors, lots of vivid colors. Really bringing again that charm, that wit, that sense of ease, that sense of levity. A big part of Wes Anderson's filming style is the use of frame shots. Constantly in this film, you feel like you're looking at a painting. I heard someone say a couple years ago in a different review that you could pause a Wes Anderson film at any point and it'll always look like a framed painting. And usually they're correct. I tend to agree. It's pretty incredible how he always makes it look like a picture, but it's frame by frame and it leads to a whole movie. That's why I love The Grand Budapest Hotel. When I first watched it, it was actually my first Wes Anderson film that I enjoyed. It blew me away. I'd never seen that style before, and that's why it's one of my favorite comedies of all time. And this film as well will be up there. Another big tool that was used to bring to life that charm, as I already discussed, was Alexander Desplat's masterful soundtrack in this film. The score of this film constantly feels adventure-y, very folksy, and the intent was to make the viewer at ease, to feel like they're on an adventure with Mr. Fox, and they accomplished that perfectly, in my opinion. It's important to me to also discuss some of the themes that are explored in this film. We look at things like family, identity, and the need for freedom. Mr. Fox in this film, as I mentioned already, is quite a selfish person, but aren't we all? I believe Anderson's use of mixing comedy with these existential questions really makes this film a lot more appealing to both young and older audiences, so it's great for the whole family. And that's something I really love about this film as well. It's not just a dumb comedy which you can just enjoy on a night out. It's also a quality film, and there's important things to think about when watching it, so it really brings it to life a lot more for the viewer. I'd like to wrap this up with some highlights I took away from the film. Things like the voice acting by George Clooney and the other cast members. The stop motion animation was beautiful, especially for 2009. It looked amazing, very easy on the eyes. If I have any criticisms around this film, it's centered around the ending. It was quite cliche, and if you watch this film, you know what I mean. I'm going to give this film an 8.3 out of 10 overall. Remember, this is just my opinion. Please check it out if you're interested, and if you do check it out, please look for the framing as I discussed, Wes Anderson's unique style. I find that really interesting. Drop a like, leave a comment if you have any thoughts, and as always, thanks for watching.